I remember I would wake up, roll over, and grab my phone first thing in the morning. And I would start scrolling on social media. I would start going into the group chat, seeing what TikToks the boys had sent, what they had been yapping about. And I'm going to be honest, I used to text humans of the opposite gender back in the day. And this is how I would spend the first hour of my day, the first 2 hours of my day, completely dissociated from this world, from this reality, focused on the internet, on social media, just scrolling and scrolling like a little monkey. And do you know what the worst part was? I knew that this was not good for me. I was ambitious, I had big goals. I wanted to succeed in business, retire my parents, retire my family, make a big, big impact, not only in my life, but also in the life of others. But I was just so distracted. After I got up from this scrolling session, first thing in the bed, this deep work of scrolling, I would go make some breakfast full of carbs and processed sugars and continue to scroll, continue to watch YouTube videos, consume content, and waste my time. Before I knew it, it was the afternoon, the late afternoon, early evenings, and I had wasted a whole day. I had not prayed a single prayer. I had not even had a conscious thought about God, about Allah, my creator. And I had not even thought about my goals, my ambitions. I knew I had work to do. I knew there was things I could have done. I should have made progress to my goals, but I didn't. I in fact just continued to be this like dirty, filthy, lazy bum who was addicted to dopamine, who was just chasing this like desire, this pleasure, but hated myself. I would literally every time I would spend my days like this, being distracted, being not focused on my work, not being purposeful, not praying. I would always come to this point where my brain was numb. If you've ever like just wasted a whole day, you would know how I felt. My brain was numb. My dopamine receptors were absolutely fried. I was basically semi-depressed, and I knew I had wasted a day. I knew I had wasted my potential. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given this desire. He'd gifted me with this desire. In fact, He even gifted me with the knowledge and the resources, the intelligence, the skill, the time. But I decided to just be distracted. I decided to text some girls who I knew weren't my wife. I decided to just sit down and scroll on social media all day. And I got nothing done. And the regret, the guilt, that level of like pain with like the shame and everything just built inside of me, because I knew I could have been better. And I knew it was because of these phones. It was that damn phone. And I knew it was social media. I knew it was those distractions. So guess what? I would delete these apps. I would delete these accounts. I would delete everything, right? I need to like lock in. I need to be focused. This is when monk mode starts. And I would delete all my accounts, like deactivate it from Instagram, like get rid of everything, right? Make my phone black and white. And guess what? I would actually be productive the next day. I would actually be making progress. I would actually be getting things done. I would be like working on my business, working on my goals, and I would be feeling so proud of myself because I'm doing the thing, I'm doing the work, and I'm not getting distracted. I'm actually getting stuff done. I'm getting closer to my goals. I'm praying. I'm connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm going to read the Quran. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. One day would go. 2 days would go. And then before I know it, I was back where I started. I was back on scrolling on social media. I was back on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, texting girls, committing sins, haram, all that good stuff, right? Stuff, that's not good stuff. Just wasting my time, wasting everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had gifted me. And even like I remember my friends at the time, or like they're still my friends, they would tell me like, oh yeah, Zain has this thing where he just deactivates his account and then comes back. Like they knew I was like, I wanted to get rid of these apps. I wanted to like quit social media, all of these things. They knew it, right? But they also knew that I couldn't. They also knew that I was a failure. And honestly, like it hurt. But the biggest pain was that I knew I was letting myself down. I was letting Allah down. I was letting my future self down. I could have put in the work. I could have been like that focused, better version of myself, but I wasn't. I wasn't doing any of that. I was just wasting my time. I was wasting my life, and I was getting nothing done. Only way to remove distractions, the only way to actually make progress in this like self-improvement, business, anything, is to replace the bad habits, is to replace the distractions, the scrolling on social media, all of those things, with something that's actually good for you. You see, I would remove these distractions. I would delete my social medias, everything, right? I would get a bit of work done, but there was like this big chunk of time in my day, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, where I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I was supposed to do in this time. I would kind of get bored. I would feel like I would just not feel good, right? Because I had nothing to do. There was nothing for me to do. I had already done the work. I already gone to the gym. I already prayed. There was just that empty hole in my day. And it was so easy to fill that empty hole back with Instagram, back with TikTok, back with all those things, right? With the distractions, bring them back in. And that's why I would. That's why I would go into the cycle where I delete these apps, come back and be focused, then be distracted. That's why I was in this entire cycle. And to fix it, and to fix like this whole, like everything, right? What I had to do was replace the time I had on these apps with something else, with something better. And it was hard at first. I will be honest with you. Even though I learned this, that, oh yeah, I have to replace it. I'm gonna start reading books. I'm gonna watch like positive podcasts and stuff. It was really hard. And honestly, it didn't work that well for a bit until I started to replace that time with something that was more fun from social media. That was more fun than these distractions. It was more fun than social media and everything, right? And that happened to be, for me, mostly learning about things I was actually passionate about. It didn't necessarily have to be business or anything like that, but things that genuinely I found fulfilling. I was passionate about, I wanted to do, whether that was something with my deen, something around YouTube, whatever it was. I decided to learn about that. I decided to do more of the work, do more of like the focused things on kind of my whatever I decided to do, right? Whatever my passion was. And for a little while, it was like learning about the deen, getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes it was about YouTube. Sometimes it was about business. And that's the thing. You cannot just replace it with a random book, right? Like, oh, let me write. This is gonna be loud. It wasn't loud. Oh, let me just read Traffic Secrets, right? Guys, I'm so like, oh, traffic, guys. If you genuinely don't look at that book and be like, oh yeah, I want to know about like, how to get traffic for one business. I want to learn this, I want to learn that. You're not gonna benefit from it. It will distract you, but your brain would much rather go back to the phone. Your brain would much rather go back to the distractions in the first place. So what you need to do is you need to replace it with something you are actually passionate about, something you actually want to do, you want to learn about, you want to like be fulfilled from. And that's all it takes really to remove the bad habits, to remove the distractions. You do not remove them, that is a lie. You replace them. And you can't just replace them with anything, because these distractions, they're so like, they're engineered to be the best thing for you in your brain. They're the most dopamine, everything, right? They feel so good. But you need to replace them with something that your heart desires, your soul wants and desires. That's what you need to replace them with. And that's where you would rather choose the book, the whatever you want to do, the walk, the gym, whatever it is that you're super passionate about, that you would enjoy doing. That's where it becomes easy for you to let go of these distractions, to let go of social media and all of these things. I hope this video was valuable for you. Go watch the video on your screen. Thank you. Bye.